Imagine it is a Tuesday morning in a quiet American suburb. The alarm on your phone screams at 6:30 a.m. You are 42 years old. You open your eyes, and the very first thing you feel isn't rest, it's a heavy, crushing weight on your chest. This is not a physical weight. It is the psychological realization that you have to drag yourself out of bed to go to a job that drains your soul just to pay off the interest on a credit card for things you bought 5 years ago and already threw in the trash. You walk to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and see a stranger who looks exhausted. You have a mortgage with 22 years left on the clock, a used SUV with a transmission that just started slipping, and exactly $412 in your savings account. You ask yourself where you went wrong. You wonder why some people are retiring early while you are counting down the days until your next direct deposit just so you can afford groceries. The truth is uncomfortable. You did not kill your future today. You likely sabotaged it 20 years ago when you were 22. You did it the moment you decided that 40 was ancient and that you had an eternity to start being responsible. Today, I am taking you on a brutal tour of your own potential future. I am going to show you the cold, hard math of your mistakes. We are going to break down exactly how one single bad decision in your 20s can cost you $2 million by the time you hit middle age. Your youth is the most expensive loan you will ever take out, and you are borrowing it from your older self. It is time to stop digging your own financial grave with a dessert spoon. My name is Aliana, and on this channel, we build financial dams so that the flood of a failing economic system does not wash you away. Grab a calculator and a shot of espresso. This is going to hurt, but it is going to save your life. The first and most dangerous mistake is what I call the I have time virus. When you are 20, there is a glitch in your brain. It whispers to you that you have an eternity ahead of you. It tells you to buy the new iPhone Pro Max for $1,200 on a payment plan through your carrier because you can always save money when you are 30. You tell yourself that by 30, you will be making a six-figure salary as a manager and you will be able to save in 1 year what would take you 5 years to save right now. That sounds like a logical plan, but it is a mathematical lie. It is a trap that snaps shut when you least expect it. You think you are just delaying your investments, but you are actually increasing the difficulty level of the game of life from easy mode to God mode. Let us look at the real American numbers for 2026. To have a comfortable retirement in the United States today, considering the rising cost of healthcare and long-term inflation, most experts agree you need at least $2.5 million in your nest egg to generate enough passive income to cover property taxes, health insurance, and basic living. If you start at age 22 and you put just $500 a month into a standard S&P 500 index fund, which historically returns between 7 and 10% annually over the long term, you will hit that $2.5 million mark by the time you are 65. That $500 is the price of a few nights out, a couple of unnecessary subscriptions, and a modest car payment. But let us say you wait until you are 40 to get serious. To hit that same goal, because you missed the magic of compounding, you would have to invest over $6,500 every single month. At 20, you can buy your freedom for the price of a pair of designer sneakers. At 40, you would practically have to sell a kidney every month to buy that same freedom. The math does not care about your excuses, your job market frustrations, or your feelings. Every year you wait does not just push the finish line back, it makes the backpack you are carrying exponentially heavier. At 20, you are hiking up the mountain with an empty bag. At 30, you are carrying a sack of bricks. By 40, you are trying to summit Everest with a concrete slab strapped to your back. You must start today. If you can't do 500, do 50. In the US, the first step is opening a Roth IRA. This is a tax-advantaged account where your money grows tax-free. If you don't use these tools, you are leaving your future to chance. The second mistake is the status trap. In America, we call this keeping up with the Joneses, but in 2026, the Joneses are broke and living on credit. When you are 24, your self-esteem is often as volatile as a tech stock. You feel this desperate need to prove to your high school friends and your followers on social media that you are winning. Marketing executives know this. They have spent billions of dollars to hack your biology and convince you that your value as a human being is tied to the logo on your car or the brand of your shoes. You make the fatal mistake of buying depreciating assets with money you do not even have. This is the classic American tragedy of the 72-month car loan. Right now, the average car payment in the US is north of $700, and for many, it's over $800. You get your first real job making $60,000 a year, and the first thing you do is go to a dealership and sign for a $45,000 truck or a luxury sedan. Between the $800 monthly payment, the $200 insurance premium for a young driver, and the gas, that vehicle is eating 50 to 60% of your take-home pay. You aren't driving that car is driving you to the poorhouse. Americans are financing cars longer than ever before, often paying more in interest than the car was worth when it was new. In 5 years, that car will be worth half of what you paid, but you will have paid back nearly $70,000 once you count the interest and fees. That is a double robbery. If you had driven a $5,000 used Toyota and invested that extra $1,000 a month into a brokerage account for those 5 years, you would have over $80,000 in cash. That is a down payment on a house or the seed money for a business that could change your family's history. Truly wealthy people in their 20s often look broke. They drive old cars, they live with roommates, and they wear plain clothes because they are busy throwing every extra dollar into the fire of compound interest. They are building a dam while you are buying bottled water while standing right next to a river. The third mistake is the myth of the safe career. We have been told since kindergarten to get a degree and find a stable job. But in 2026, stability is a ghost. The world has shifted. A degree without high-income skills is a liability, not an asset. Artificial intelligence and automation are no longer future threats, they are here, and they are coming for the white-collar office jobs first. If you spend 4 years and $80,000 in student loans to get a degree in a field you don't even like just because your parents told you it was safe, you are walking into a slaughterhouse. You graduate at 23 with a mountain of debt and you take an entry-level cubicle job for $50,000 a year. You get stuck in the middle-income trap where you make just enough to pay rent and eat, but never enough to actually build wealth. You stop learning because you think your degree was the finish line. But your peer who took a risk, the one who spent their 20s failing at a startup, mastering high-ticket sales, or learning how to leverage AI tools, is building real-world skills. By the time they are 30, they have the social capital and the grit to survive any recession. Meanwhile, you have 10 years of experience sitting in a chair doing a task that a customized AI model can now do for $5 a month. By 40, the company will replace you with a 22-year-old who knows how to prompt that AI to do your job twice as fast for half the salary. Your degree will eventually become nothing more than an expensive coaster for your coffee mug. In the US, you need to be looking at 401k plans with company matches. That is free money. If your employer offers a match and you aren't taking it, you are literally giving away part of your salary. Invest in your brain and your retirement accounts simultaneously. Hard skills and tax-advantaged assets are the only currencies that do not lose value. The fourth mistake is entering relationships without a calculator. This is the most taboo topic in our culture because it is not romantic, but financial misalignment is one of the top causes of divorce in the United States. When you are 20, your hormones are driving the bus. You fall in love, you move in together, and you have a massive wedding that you put on a credit card because you want it to be special. You don't discuss credit scores or spending habits because you think it ruins the mood. But having a partner with a different financial DNA is like trying to sail a boat while the other person is drilling holes in the bottom. If you are trying to save for a home and your partner is spending every weekend at luxury brunches and ordering clothes they don't need on buy now, pay later apps, you are headed for disaster. Divorce will strip you of 50% of your assets and set your retirement plans back by 20 years. If you cannot have a serious, cold-blooded conversation about debt and budgeting before you sign a lease or a marriage license, you are not mature enough to be in that relationship. Then there is the mistake of having children before you have a financial foundation. A child is a blessing, but in America, it is also a $300,000 project over 18 years, not including college. If you have a baby at 22 when you have zero savings and 5 figures in student debt, you are effectively putting a ceiling on your career growth and your ability to take risks for the next decade. All of your risk-taking energy will be replaced by the survival need for diapers and health insurance premiums. I am not telling you to never have a family, I am telling you to be a leader. Put your own financial oxygen mask on first. Build the emergency fund, get the term life insurance, and then bring a life into the world. The fifth mistake is treating your body like a rental car. In your 20s, your health is a free gift from nature. You can eat fast food every day, stay up until 3 a.m., and still function. You think you are saving money by skipping the dentist or avoiding a gym membership. But your body is a high-performance machine that requires maintenance. If you spend your youth fueling yourself with energy drinks and processed sugar, the bill will come due when you are 40, and it will be astronomical. In the US, medical inflation is out of control. Fixing a small cavity at 22 costs you a $100 copay. Ignoring it until you need a root canal and a crown at 40 costs you $4,000. Neglecting your physical strength and ending up with chronic back issues means tens of thousands of dollars in lost productivity and physical therapy. A sick person cannot build a kingdom. This leads to the final mistake, living on borrowed dopamine. We live in a world designed to keep you broke. Apps want you to use services like Affirm or Klarna for a pair of jeans. They have hacked your biology. Every time you click buy, your brain gets a hit of dopamine. You feel like a successful hunter, but the mammoth you caught is made of pixels and plastic, while the debt is very real. If you form the habit of shopping to relieve stress in your 20s, you are biologically hardwiring yourself for failure. When life gets truly hard at 40, you will spend even more money trying to feel better, and you will become a slave to the treadmill of consumption. You have to change where you get your dopamine. Start getting a rush from watching your brokerage account grow or seeing a zero balance on your credit card statement. Let us go back to that 42-year-old man from the beginning. He does not regret the parties he missed. He regrets the lost compounding time. At 20, you have the most powerful asset in the universe, a low cost of living and time. You can live on ramen and sleep on a floor and still be happy. This is the only time in your life when you can go all in on a dream or an aggressive investment strategy. Here are the new rules for your life in 2026. First, pay your future self a mandatory tax. At least 20% of every dollar you earn goes into an index fund or a Roth IRA immediately. Act like that money does not exist. Second, kill the consumer inside you. Be the person who carries a 5-year-old phone but owns $10,000 worth of the company's stock. Third, never take out a loan for something that goes down in value. Fourth, use your youth to take massive professional risks while your overhead is low. Fifth, curate your circle. If your friends spend every Friday night at a bar complaining about the economy instead of discussing how to master it, you need new friends. You can close this video and go back to scrolling for entertainment. The system would love that. It needs more people to pay interest on credit cards until they die. It needs perfect consumers with no memory and no future. But if you have even a spark of hunger left in you, start building your dam today. The water is rising, and when the next economic crisis breaks the levee, only the people with a solid foundation will stay afloat. This will not be easy, but it will be worth it. If you want to wake up at 40 as a free person with millions in assets instead of an exhausted slave to a bank, then subscribe to Aliana Invest. Let us stop digging the grave and start building the empire. We will see you in the next one.